Hi, my name is Jamie Arocampo and I will be talking about the two different kinds of thirst. First, we have the osmotic thirst and the hypovolemic thirst. Osmotic thirst, it is a kind of thirst associated with eating food that are high in sodium. Eating salty food results in imbalance, hence needing more water. So, in the introduction of thirst, ipinaliwanag na ang ating katawan or a mammalian body in general has a range of about 70% of water in its composition. Most food na kinakain natin or iniinom na flavored drink ay may sodium. And these solutes in the body produce what is called osmotic pressure. Kung babalikin natin ang past science lessons natin, solute is defined as a solvent dissolved in a solution. Osmotic thirst usually occurs because the human body is made out of concentrated solutes. Kaya kapag may imbalance, natural na magkakaroon ng proseso ng pagsisignal ng katawan kung ano yung kailangan nito. Ang katawan natin ay may ability na ma-detect yung ganitong klase ng uhaw. Dito pumapasok yung tinatawag na osmotic pressure. How it's triggered. Osmotic pressure. When water flow in a membrane from low solute concentration to a high solute concentration in an attempt to balance solute concentration. One part of the membrane is concentrated than the other. This will cause cell shrinkage, which signals the brain that we need more water. So yung osmotic pressure, as I said, nagsisilbing signal ng katawan para ma-detect ng utak na uhaw na tayo. Ang cells natin kapag nakulangan ng tubig, naliit or nagsishrink. Ito ay ginagawa ng cells natin para makompensate yung kakulangan ng solution or water sa katawan. Yung process na under ng osmotic pressure ay tinatawag na osmosis. Yung paglipat ng water to a more concentrated area. Isang part ng cell ay highly concentrated, tapos ang isang part naman ay may low solute concentration. Ito ay nakakatulong sa pag-absorb ng blood ng tubig galing sa intestines. Mahalin tulad natin to sa isang analogy. Ang isang sponge na tuyo, kapag nilagay natin sa isang lalagyan na may tubig, ma-absorb nito yung solution. But how does the brain detect osmotic pressure? There are receptors in the third ventricle of the brain. And we have the OVLT, or the organum vasculosum laminae terminalis, and the subfornical organ. So, kasama na dito sa pagdedetect yung stomach natin, which also has receptors and detects high levels of sodium. So, yung mga part ng third ventricle na to ng brain, nagtutulungan with their respective functions na ma-relay yung information. Once na ma-detect yung osmotic pressure and sodium levels ng katawan, dadalhin sa hypothalamus yung signal. And as we know, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain responsible for controlling our movement. Specific part ng hypothalamus na may kinalaman dito ay ang tinatawag na supraoptic nucleus and the paraventricular nucleus. These two help in the rate of vasopressin release for the kidney to reabsorb water. And the information, hindi lang pala sa hypothalamus sinesend yung info, also to the lateral preoptic area which controls drinking. Though hindi pa masyado na-explore yung function ng lateral preoptic area, nakitaan nito ng role sa pagtulog at sa pag-inom ng tubig. So, our drinking process, it takes about 15 minutes. 15 minutes yung proseso ng pag-intake through the digestive tract. Tapos, yung mismong blood na infused na with water will bring the water to the brain and to different parts of the body. Ang brain natin ay magsisignal or mag-hint na sapat na ang tubig na nainom natin or naabot na natin ang stage ng thirst satiety. So, from the starting signal of osmotic pressure to relaying the information, we can result with the necessary action. The next kind of thirst is called the hypovolemic thirst. It is the kind of thirst associated with water output like sweating, and low bodily fluids like a smaller number of electrolytes in the body. So kung ang osmotic thirst ay nagsisimula dahil sa sodium intake, ang hypovolemic naman ay dahil sa kawalan ng tubig dahil sa pagpapawis ng katawan. Kadalasan sa mga commercial ng energy drink, nababanggit yung kawalan ng electrolytes dahil sa movement ng katawan. Tas ina-advertise na dahil dito, hindi sapat yung pag-inom lamang ng tubig. This is an example of hypovolemic thirst. How it's triggered. So there are these following hormones trigger hypovolemic thirst. We have the vasopressin, which nabanggit na kanina, which as we know is a hormone from the posterior pituitary gland, which helps our kidney reabsorb water. And the angiotensin 2. It tightens blood vessels as a response due to low blood pressure. It excites neurons located in the brain's third ventricle, which will connect to the hypothalamus, released as a neurotransmitter in the hypothalamus. So yung pinaka hormone dito sa process ng hypovolemic thirst ay yung tinatawag nating angiotensin 2. So may process dito of how hypovolemic thirst is detected. First, it starts with low blood volume. Natitrigger ang hypovolemic thirst dahil sa tinatawag na hypovolemia or yung low volume of bodily fluids in the blood. Yung kidneys natin, it will respond with releasing renin. Yung renin na tinatawag, it helps balance and control blood pressure. So may receptors tayo sa ating mga ugat na nagde-detect ng change in the blood pressure. The proteins in the blood will begin to form angiotensin 1, which will soon be converted to angiotensin 2. That signals the need to drink. So magkaiba yung proseso ng osmotic and hypovolemic thirst. Therefore, may mga nakalaang ibang solusyon para matugunan ang dalawang ito. There are taste preference to control and to combat the kinds of thirst. First, we have the osmotic thirst. So, since osmotic thirst is caused by sodium intake, yung best option dito is pure water. Hypovolemic thirst is the loss of bodily fluids. Options best are those packed with electrolytes and slight sodium in its ingredients. Yung, for example, ay Pocari Sweat or Gatorade. So, sodium-specific hunger. The sodium-specific hunger, it is an allostatic response. It's when the body needs more sodium intake to balance sodium levels. So, since yung process kanina is about drinking water, nagkakaroon din minsan ng imbalance dahil sa sobrang tubig. And allostatic response, ito yung nag-i-aim na ma-reach yung equilibrium and balance sa katawan. Itong sodium-specific hunger ay nangyayari kapag hindi balance ang sodium levels, kung kaya't kakailanganin kumain o mag-intake ng salty foods. So, to close this discussion of the two kinds of thirst, let's reassess their stimulus relieved by receptor location and hormone influence. So, the type of thirst, osmotic, its stimulus is the high solute concentration outside cells, causes loss of water from cells. It is best relieved by drinking water. And receptor location, OVLT, a brain area adjoining the third ventricle. Hormone influences accompanied by vasopressin secretion to conserve water. The type of thirst, hypovolemic, its stimulus is the low blood volume. It is best relieved by drinking water containing solutes. Receptor location. Receptors measuring blood pressure in the veins. Subfornical organ, a brain area adjoining the third ventricle. Hormone influence, increased by angiotensin 2.